In this lab, you are going to create a class that will replicate the process of having someone stick to a budget. So first you will prompt the user for information about themselves, their name, their age, and how much money they have to spend. Then you will create a monthly spending budget based upon these percentages, which you need to stick to. After that, you will then prompt the user for which category they want to spend from, and you will check to see if they have enough money in that category. If they do, you will allow them to make the purchase and subtract the money. If they don't, you'll give them a message telling them that they don't have enough money. The things that we have provided you with are starter code, which is all in Code.hs, and within this code, you don't want to change anything that's in this file. It works perfectly, and when I grade your lab, I'm going to grade it against this file, so don't change anything in there. In terms of your required classes, there are two classes you have to make, the person class and the budget class. Both of these classes have to have appropriate Java doc comments for every method, including your constructor, your getters, your setters, and you need to have comments at the top of your file with your name, date, period, and so forth. Your person class will have the following instance variables and all of its getters and setters and a constructor. Your budget class is going to be where you'll see the bulk of your code. So you will have several double instance variables as well as a decimal format object. And this object will be instantiated down in your constructor. In terms of constants, we are going to have a number of constants for our problem. First of all, we'll have constants that represent the percentage of the budget for each of our categories. We want to have these in constants so that way if the user decides, I didn't really allocate enough money for clothes, I need to adjust my budget, they can move the percentages around without having to change any of their code. Next, we want to have constants for the option that the driver chose. And this makes your code more readable. So that way in your if statement, you can say, for example, if the user chose clothes, as opposed to saying if the user chose 1. Within the constructor for the budget object, we need to make sure that we instantiate the decimal format object. Now we talked about how to instantiate this in our last lab, and I want to point out that we're going to use a slightly different string. The key difference is this 0 right here. And the reason why we want to have this 0 here is because with your decimal format string, you're telling Java how you want the double value to be displayed on output. The 0 tells the computer you want it to show a 0 if no digit exists. The number symbol says that you want to show the number if it exists. And then these other things, the comma and the $sign, they're basically saying, I want them there. However, this comma will only appear if there is a number beyond the comma. And so that's why we only see the comma shown if we were to have a value in our budget that was greater than $1,000 or $1,000 or greater. Then we have these methods which are described here that we need to make sure we have. And for our toString method for the budget class, what I did here was I highlighted in our sample output what is returned from the toString, so that way you are aware of how you should create your toString for the budget class. All right, so the rest of this Google Doc just shows a couple screenshots of the output and the menus to help you out. What I'm going to do now is give you a quick demo of me running the program. So first we're going to start out with our name, and so we're going to go with Mickey Mouse because good old Mickey had a birthday yesterday. And, oh shoot, I already screwed that up. Let's start over. Mickey is the first name, and Mouse is the last name, and I have no idea how old Mickey is. I'm going to go with 75. I mean, who knows? And his budget, I mean, he's doing pretty good, although I have a feeling that Disney's been hit hard by coronavirus, so we're going to go with just 500. All right, so here's our welcome prompt, here's our toString that shows, and then our menu. Now, at this point, the user is going to keep on picking choices until they enter 5 to quit. So Mickey's like, hey, I need to get some new shoes. And so he's going to go in the clothes budget. And because he's got some pretty big feet, these shoes, they cost a lot of money. So let's say these shoes cost him $75. Now, we're going to notice a couple things. We'll notice that the amount of money in the clothes budget decreases by 75. We'll also notice that the amount of money in the overall budget decreases by 75. And now let's say Mickey's girlfriend Minnie is like, well, hey, I want new shoes too. And so he's like, all right, I'll go buy you some new shoes because I love you. And he tries to spend 75 on her, and oh snap, he can't. He doesn't have enough money in that budget. So nothing happens. He gets a prompt saying he can't buy it. Nothing is spent. So instead, he decides to buy her, I don't know, new headphones or something. So let's go with electronics, and we'll say 150. And as you can see, we can slowly go through and just start spending our money. All right. And each of these budgets, we can spend money from them, from the different categories. And each time as we do that, the respective category decreases and the total amount of money decreases. If I were to try to spend money in a category that I don't have enough money for, it does tell me which category I don't have enough money in. So that is a specific error prompt. And then when I'm all done and I hit 5 for exit, it doesn't ask me how much money I want to spend on exit. It just done. It takes me out. And it tells me how much money I have saved. And that's it. So I hope this video was helpful for you in the creation of your budget lab. And yeah, have a great day.